Hello brothers and sisters, welcome to today's episode on Dangerous African Confessions HD. Today we have a story from one of our brothers called David. In this captivating story, David shares with us how he became wealthy, after sacrificing his family in order to attain his status, his life journeys, and how he met a man who promised to help him make life meaningful for him. Little did he know that this route will require the sacrifice of his family members. As usual, I won't mention real name, so I've edited the names, locations to hide their identity. Without wasting much of your time, let's go and listen to the story.
Hello brother, my heart is very heavy. And as I write to you, you won't believe what I am about to tell you. This is how I've managed to kill my family members one after the other. I am not proud of my actions. I need help. I am dying inside. My conscience will not let me rest. If only I can turn back the hands of time. As I write to you, I am in this big house all alone. No sibling, mother nor father to enjoy this money with me. What brought about this whole thing is that my family was a noble but struggling family. I had two siblings together with my mother and father. We didn't have money, but life was beautiful. Life was just beautiful, until one day, my father poisoned himself. He did that because he could not stand the humiliation that had come upon him. What happened was that my mother had to sleep with one man in order for the man not to report my father to the police. My mother was trying to prevent a possible jail term for my father. The man said, if he was going to let everything go, then my mother had to give herself to him for 2 days to pay for the death of my father. After realizing the man was not ready to listen to our plea to give us more time to settle the money, my mother had no choice than to give herself away to the man. She had asked the man not tell my father. But a day after the very act was done, the man came to our house to insult my father, letting him know what really had transpired between himself and my mother. My father, after hearing this, couldn't stand the pain and shame. So, one day, when we were supposed to go and work in the farm, he told us he was not feeling well. Because of that, we left him at home and left for the farm. We returned in the evening to see my father lying down dead with foam in his mouth. He had a written note down beside him. In the note, he said, "Thank you, Dora, don't cry. You did your best for me and the children. I know when I am gone, my children will be in good hands. I will always choose you in my next life. Goodbye." That is how my father left us. This was a very huge blow for my mother and us. It was a talk in our town that my mother was the cause of my father's death, because he went sleeping around and my father couldn't take the embarrassment, so he took his own life. Because of this, we had to move from our town to the next town to start life there. My mother, my other two siblings, and myself.
Please kindly subscribe, share and like our videos. Kindly hit the notification bell so you will be the first to get notification to our videos when we upload. Thank you, and let's get back to the story.
Before leaving our town, I went to my father's grave and made a promise that, no matter what happens, I will sacrifice everything I have to make sure the people he left behind are well taken care of. Year passed and things were really getting bad, day after day. Everything that we were doing in order to see life become such a joyous one proved futile. One day, my younger brother was seriously sick and we rushed him to the hospital. Upon arrival, the nurses asked that we made deposit before treatment will begin. That they told us was the procedure at the hospital. This was a very difficult situation for us. Because the money we didn't have. My mother went to the doctor's office to plead with him to start the treatment, so we can go and arrange for the money. But the doctor didn't want to even listen what my mother was saying. So, when we were coming out of the hospital ward, we met a man who asked my mother why she was crying. She explained the situation to the man and he offered to pay the bills in order for my brother to be treated. After paying for everything, he gave my mother money for upkeep and gave me his card. He told me that I should call him if any issue comes up with regards to my brother's treatment. We came home after everything and I decided to call the man to thank him for such intervention. This was when everything changed for me. The beginning of my problems and the evil deeds I have done started from here. The man asked me to meet him when I had called him to thank him. So, I went to meet him one evening and to be honest, I was dumbfounded when I saw him. His appearance was all about money. He smelled money. He was driving this nice latest black Range Rover. He rolled down the mirror of the car and asked me to come sit inside the car so we can talk. The truth is that it felt like I was in paradise in the car. Everything inside the car looked so much expensive. This man was living what we call life. He asked about my story and I told him all that happened in our town before we moved here. After everything, he told me never to give up. He said maybe it was right that I met him. I asked why he said that, and he said he will help be on my feet. He again said when he met us at the hospital something told him to help us. And he has been thinking. He asked me how much would be enough for me and my family. This couldn't answer. I was in tears. I can never tell you why I was crying. Because I don't even know why it happened. He gave some money and asked me to go and think about what I wanted to do. I came home and gave the money to my mother and told her what the man asked me to do. Everybody that night was in tears. It was like finally, our hardship will come to an end. I made a promise to my 2 younger siblings that I will make sure they have the best education they can ever think of if the man sets me up for business. I told my mother also that this is her own time to be happy, for all her tears will be wiped out soon. When everyone had gone to sleep, I took my father's picture and came out of the room. I sat at the entrance of our room, looking at my father's picture. The memory of my father started coming back to me like I was in a trance. In this state, my father was telling me never to make any hasty decision in life. He told me to wait for the right time and moment. For my appointed time is very close to me. I felt someone touching me, so I opened my eyes and it was my mother. She asked why I was all alone by myself. I told her I couldn't sleep and that I was thinking about my father. What I would have been like to have him around. My mother said something to me, which I now know it is true, and if only I had listened to the voice, things would have been different. She said that, even though my father has left his body, he is still with us. And if I open my ears, I can hear him always. And can even talk to him. She held my hand and asked me to go to bed. Please, before I continue, if you're listening to my story and you have your father or mother or even both parents dead, they are still with you, talk to them, be sensitive, and you can hear them talk back to you. Sometimes, they might want to advise you for or against something. So in about a month's time, the man called me and asked for directions to our house. He came after I had shown him. He brought to us some foodstuffs and money. But this time he said he wanted to go with me to his place to meet a friend of his, who wants a driver. This was after he had asked if I know how to drive, and I told him yes, I do. This very journey was a journey of no return for me. What I mean by a journey of no return is that this journey was the one that changed my life from what it was to worst. Even though I have plenty of money now, my life is just miserable. He gave details of where he lives to my mother. This was after my mother asked how safe I was going to be. So, the man told my mother if after 2 days and I am not back, they should come and look for me from him. So, I left my lovely family, only to come back and meet 1 dead body and 2 alive. I left to go and make money for my lovely family. Instead, I returned to meet my mother dead.
Our brothers and sisters do share with us their stories not for sharing's sake, but they are meant for us who still do have chances, not to make these mistakes our brothers and sisters are making. That's why we share these stories with you. Please kindly subscribe if you haven't, share and like our videos. Kindly hit the notification bell so you will be the first to get notification to our videos when we upload. Thank you, stay safe and see you in the part 2 of this video.